As I start the call today, the question that comes to my mind is why in this world there is so much conflict? Why is there so much war? One nation is killing another nation. People of one religion are wanting to kill people of another religion. Brothers are killing each other for the sake of family property. Why is there so much conflict in this world? The answer is because of ignorance, because there is no enlightenment. If there was enlightenment, there would be no conflict in this world. The world would have peace. And it may sound very easy, but the truth is this: because there is no realization of the truth, people are killing each other. When will we realize the simple thing that we came with nothing and we will go with nothing? When will we realize that nothing belongs to us? This is such a simple truth. We all know it, but we don't realize it. Anybody with questions?
Yes.
We have 3 questions to start with, and let us start.
Surinder Goyal.
Surinder Goyal. Namaskar ji.
Namaskar, Shivam sir.
Shivam.
Sir, in the process of self-realization, first I will know myself, then I will know God.
No. First, you will not know yourself. First, you will realize yourself. आपने कहा first I will know myself. Knowing is not. First, you will realize yourself. Then you will realize God. And for you to make this.
Yes, sir. Sir, first I will know myself. Only then I can realize myself.
हाँ, वो भी सर. But you said first I will know myself, then I will know God. No. First you cannot see Surinder. You already know yourself. You don't need to. एक बच्चा अपने आप को जानता है. मैं राजू हूँ.
Yes, sir.
But you have to realize yourself. So first step is the answer. I'm only correcting the statement for the sake of everybody in the group, because this word is it's a very tricky word. Surinder, ये जो शब्द है ना, know and realize में दिन रात का फर्क है. I hope you agree with my point. आगे बढ़िए. First you have to realize yourself, then you have to realize God. यही बोल रहे थे आप. हाँ, बताइए तो question क्या है?
Sir, यही question है कि first I will realize myself, then I will realize
हाँ,
God.
because it's just like saying.
Without realizing myself, I cannot realize God.
It's just like saying that आप डॉक्टर है, आपको किसी को एनेस्थीसिया देना है, आपके पास एनेस्थीसिया का दवाई नहीं होगी तो देंगे कैसे? तो पहले इंजेक्शन हाथ में होगा, फिर तो इंजेक्शन दे सकते हैं आप. मतलब ये कि विदाउट रियलाइजिंग योरसेल्फ, सुरेंद्र, यू कैन नॉट रियलाइज गॉड. मतलब ये है कि हम कुछ भी नहीं. पता है सुरेंद्र, एक बड़ी, दिस इज अ बिग प्रॉब्लम एंड आई होप सुदीप इज ऑन द कॉल, राइट? हम लोग समझते हैं अहम ब्रह्मस्मि. हम समझते हैं शिवोहम का मतलब मैं शिव हूं. अहम ब्रह्मस्मि का मतलब है मैं ब्रह्म हूं. ये तो सबसे बड़ा भ्रम है. ये सबसे बड़ा भ्रम है कि मैं ब्रह्म हूं. सत्य ये है
मैं कुछ भी नहीं.
मैं कुछ भी नहीं. अरे वाह, अरे सुरेंद्र ने बढ़िया आंसर दिया आपने. मैं कुछ भी नहीं, सब कुछ तुम ही. तभी यही तो, दिस इज द ट्रिक. जब हमें मालूम पड़ता है कि मैं कुछ भी नहीं, what is the self? The self is not the body, the self is not the mind, the self is not the ego, the self is nothing. The moment we realize we are nothing, we become everything. We become God. Okay? Or kuch further? Thank you. Thank you. Next question, please. Lavina.
Shivam, sir.
Shivam, Lavina.
So my question is, whenever I sit in silence and ask question to myself, the answer starts to come out. जो मैंने कहीं पढ़े भी नहीं, कहीं सुने भी नहीं है. So I want to know from where these answers are coming, from my intellect, from my consciousness, from where?
This is a little dangerous because the answer can come from 2 areas. The first answer comes from the mind. And the mind makes you act like it is coming from the intellect. And if you follow that mind, then you are going around in circles. पहले तो मन जवाब देगा. जब आप साइलेंस में बैठेगी, पहले मन आके जवाब देगा. और मन एक्टिंग क्या करेगा? Mind will act like it is intellect. Mind will act like it is consciousness. It is only, Lavina, when you sit in that consciousness and you are able to transcend the mind. When you are thoughtless, when there is no thought and the answers come, that is coming from consciousness. So you have to analyze that. It should not be coming from the mind. Now, coming to the point, there are two ways it can be coming. One, suppose, okay, let me ask you a question. Suppose it's suppose thought is coming, you're sitting in silence. आज मैं ask air में जाऊं कि नहीं जाऊं? तो mind बोलता है, बकवास बोलता है, तुम क्यों जाना है? Why should you go? Don't go. फिर intellect बोलता है, no, why we should go? I will learn something. Why is the mind saying don't go? So you can make out the dialogue between the mind and the intellect. Now this is one way of getting the answer. When there's a dialogue between the mind and the intellect. एक हो गया. And the second way of getting the answer is when there is mindfulness, when there is consciousness, when there is nothingness. और उसमें जो आपको जवाब मिलता है, वो that is a divine answer. You must try to get that answer. So I don't know where you are getting. You have to, next time when you're sitting in silence, try to observe where the answer is coming from. Then you will know what to follow.
सर मैं ऑब्जर्व करती हूँ, दो तरफ से आंसर आते हैं. एक मुझे लगता है बहुत ही जहाँ फुल ऑफ फियर या फिर इस तरह से होता है, और एक बहुत होता है जो मन को शांति देता है.
So you already got the answer right. Now you know वो जो fear का आंसर कहाँ से आ रहा है वो आंसर? मन से. Mind से आ रहा है. So be careful of that. Then if your intellect is awake, अगर आपने the intellect is like a knife. Knife, चाकू जो है, you have to sharpen the knife. You sharpen the knife, it can cut the mind like that. It should cut the mind. But I'm giving you a next guidance. Try to sit in the thought where you keep the mind and intellect both quiet. Shh, shh. And then you get aparoksh anubhuti. You get an experience from the divine and you will experience that. So try. It will not come so easily. You keep trying, it will come.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Lavina. Thank you. Next question. Navjot. Aji, Navjot.
Sir, I have two questions. First one is, I saw your video spend before the end. So I want to ask, on what things do we have to spend?
On what things? You spend on the most intellectual things. Suppose you feel, now if you spend on material things, then it's as good as you're not spending, you're wasting, right? So you spend first on your needs. Whatever is your need, khana, roti, kapda, makan, you have to take care of that. Then you have got the money. Then you use your intellect to discriminate where I should spend. Koi garib hai, koi mar raha hai. I want to help my servant's child is not being educated. I want to pay fees for my servant's child. So it all depends upon what circumstance you are. But the question that the video you saw, spend before the end, means only one thing. If you don't spend and the life will end, then it's a waste. Nah? So in another video, I say, use it before you lose it. I like rhyming words. If you notice, मैं हमेशा words rhyme करते हैं. So use it before you lose it. Spend before the end. This is the answer. Next question.
Yesterday we discussed about the truck hitting a man karma. So you said that there has to be a karma equivalent to a truck hit. Until then, nothing can happen. So is there a equivalent karma for someone being born as a blind person?
Yes, but we don't know the equivalent. There is an equivalent. Everything is organized, but हमें नहीं पता.
So there are millions of people who are born blind. So all of them have committed the same karma.
No. There may be different crimes. Which, okay, it's just like saying, आप खाना क्या खाते हैं?
Normal, like anything, nothing.
Favorite, which is your favorite restaurant, man? South Indian, North Indian, kya?
No favorite.
Okay, suppose you're going to a pizza place and the pizza is costing 200 rupees and the pasta is costing 200 rupees. Both are costing 200, na? Value is 200 for pizza and for pasta. But garlic bread will
Yes.
be only 100 rupees. So there will be different
Yes.
different crimes with a different karmic value. The blind, we don't know this. You and me are not, we are not here to be able to decipher. मतलब हमें कर्म को decode नहीं करना, हम नहीं कर सकते. We cannot decode karma. We can only infer karma. We can only understand that it exists, but we are not able to find the answer exactly. How many score, how much negative. We are not. Nobody in this world can find out.
Okay.
So you know one thing.
I have
One day,
one last question. We always talk of killing our mind and ego.
Yeah.
So is I don't think it is possible to kill the mind.
You are right.
Very
You cannot-
difficult.
No, you cannot kill. As long as you are alive, you cannot kill. It is only a figure of speech. बोलने में हम बोलते हैं कि mind को kill करना है. Actually,
So
you
do
have to
we
transcend. You have to transcend the mind and ego. You have to go beyond it. They say
so do we have to bring it under control?
correct. We have to. Well, that is the meaning of kill it.
We don't have to be a slave to it.
Yeah. Sometimes we say in words, no, I will kill you. It doesn't mean I will kill you. We just say I will
Right.
kill you. So sometimes
Right.
it's just what we say.
Okay.
So sometime back, since I have 2 minutes time, Navjot, let me tell you a quick story. When I was not heir, when I was still a slave to my beliefs, when my mother was very worried because my business was not doing so good. So she called one Swami, one Pujari, and she told him, क्या problem है? मेरे बेटे को बहुत problem है. क्या करना है? So he said, कल आओ बताता हूँ. So next day we went, he said, you know the problem? Your son in the last janam, he has done Gau Hatya. Which means in the last janam, he has done a big pap. He has killed a cow in this last janam. So my mother told, so kya karna? What do we do? So then he told, okay, we have to bury a golden cow. We have to make a cow in gold and we have to bury it. So I told him, okay. So the next day my mother didn't go. I went there. So he said, you don't worry, I will do everything. So I said, where to make the golden cow? He said, I will make, don't worry. You come after 15 days, I will do all the preparation and then we will do the pujas. So after 15 days, I went there. I told him, yes, Swamiji, abhi bolo kya karna hai? Golden cow kahan hai? He took me to the room and he showed me one chawal ka one mountain of chawal, rice. And he told me, cow andar dala hai maine. I already put the cow inside the chawal. And then he did some puja and then he told, give 25,000 rupees. So like a fool, I paid him 25,000 rupees. He said, now you're fine. By putting the see, so this is very common. I don't know how many of you all must have been experiencing such
So already the business was in loss and you lost 25,000 more.
Yeah. Can you next question? My administrator is saying I don't have time. Okay, this is just to tell you.
Thank you.
This is just to tell you how nobody, the Swami cannot know last janam mein I did Gau Hatya. There is no way of him coming to know I killed a cow in the last janam, in my last life.
Right.
Impossible for him to know that. Okay, next.
Right.
Ranveer. Yes, sir. Ranveer.
Shivam, sir.
Shivoham, Ranveer.
Sir, you always say, become thoughtless, become thoughtless. Sir, thoughtless होना भी एक thought है, अगर देखा जाए. सर, thoughts बंद तो नहीं हो सकते हैं, सर. आपने एक बार फिर बोला कि thought transient हो सकता है, mind transient हो सकता है. Sir, clear this, sir, please.
Okay. Let me clear it in a practical manner. Okay. We have to reduce the MTR. You have to remember the word MTR. MTR means mental thought rate. The mind is producing about 1 thought per second. Approximately, let's say 50 thoughts a minute. This comes to 50,000 thoughts a day. अगर mind ऐसे अटैक करेगा कोई भी पागल हो जाएगा. Anybody will go mad. So you reduce the MTR from 50 thoughts per minute to 40 thoughts per minute to 30 thoughts per minute. You can't practically count it. I'm not saying that you can take a note paper and keep on counting, but you can see, you can slow down your pace. You can slow down the mind's agitation. When you keep on slowing down the pace, Ranveer, the mind will slowly slow down. Have you seen fishing? Have you ever seen fishing? Fishing dekha aapne? When you try to catch a fish, is it easy to catch a fish?
No.
the fish will jump out of your hand like wow, 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 like that. Okay. Like in that same fish, if you keep in a bucket for a few days and don't give food and oxygen, that fish is very easy to take in the hand. In the hand only you can take. The fish will be like this. It will not have the life.
Yeah.
Cut the oxygen to your mind. What I mean is, make sure the mind MTR ko reduce the MTR. Reduce the MTR. It's not easy. I know where I told you it's very easy. But then what you just said, I want to correct one small statement. You said becoming thoughtless is a thought. It is a thought as long as you are not thoughtless. But the moment you are thoughtless, it is not a thought. The moment you are thoughtless, then you are सत के चित में रहता आनंदा है पाता. There's no thought. सच्चिदानंदा हाल है वो. You reach that state. सत्य का एहसास है करना. You have to get that state. It will happen. It will happen slowly.
So you say, sir, that you can reduce thought but not become thoughtless.
It will become ultimately. But it is even when you are becoming thoughtless, even the man who's a samadhi mein hai, jo turiyam mein hai, even an enlightened person will get thoughts. Will get thoughts. There is nobody in this world who will be thoughtless. Nobody in this world who will be thoughtless.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Next administrator. Harsh Agarwal.
Shivoham, sir.
Shivoham, Harsh.
Sir, what do you think? Out of 100% of us, how much of percent people gets rebirths?
What I think?
Yes. How much percent of us gets rebirths out of 100%?
I think 99%.
Okay, clear. And another question I have: how many of person gets birth of human out of 100%?
Nobody knows.
For
Nobody.
me, I think
If
it's
anybody,
20%.
if anybody can tell you that this is wrong, because this only God knows.
Yes, it depends on karma. Okay, please
No,
next.
yeah, because everybody, we don't know. Not only this karma, it depends on our previous karma also. Not only this janam ka karma. How does anybody know what is the previous karma?
Correct. Please give chance to another person. I'll text you. Thank you for the answering.
Thank you, Harsh.
Next is Sumati Charu.
Sumati. Huh? Sumati.
Hello everyone, Shivoham.
Shivoham.
Yeah, this is Charu, Sumati Charu.
Yes, Charu, ask me your question.
Yeah, I wanted to know, like, suppose we are suffering from some problem, and we are in pain from quite like maybe 1 or 2 years. So that definitely means that there is some past karma of ours which is giving us that result. So what is what I definitely have to go through my karma, what my past I have done. But what is that karma which would be so strong that it can almost eradicate the effects of the previous karma? Is there any?
The karma that can eradicate will depend upon your actions. But what can eradicate all your karmas of all your janmas is nirvana, is enlightenment. If you are, if the moment you say, I am not Charu, Charu is just my name. I am not this body. This body was a small baby when I was born. Before being the baby, I was in my mother's womb. I was only one zygote. If you realize I am not the body, if you realize I am not the mind, if you realize that I am just an instrument of God, if you overcome the ego, you transcend the ego, that means you drop all your karma. This is enlightenment. This is mukti.
Yeah, so how to actually achieve, because listening wise, I've heard from lot of places also that we are not body, and it is like almost the knowledge is deep rooted in me, but still at lot of places I say this is my, this thing, this is my, but like that comes naturally to me. This is my kid, this is my house, but you know, like, what is that criteria on which God decides that this person has to I'll make this person enlightened? Like you said, we have to come to the state that we are nothing to realize that we are everything, right?
Yeah.
So how to reach that state?
So you reach that state when your knowledge becomes realization. Because right now, from the time we are children, we have been taught wrong things. We have
Yes,
been
yes,
taught the God is in the statue. We have been
correct.
taught God is in the temple, but God is in the heart. We
Hmm.
have been taught. So therefore, the process of unlearning, because right now we have conditioned, we have been indoctrinated, we are conditioned with the wrong thoughts. This is exactly what this Zoom call every day at 8 o'clock. Every day people ask questions only to overcome ignorance and to realize the truth. So this is the answer for you. The only way to be enlightened is to overcome ignorance. And the only way to overcome ignorance is to ask questions. Every day people come, people ask questions. You keep on asking questions. You keep on asking questions. You keep on asking questions till you get aparoksh anubhuti. Means you have to have it should not be just knowledge. By listening to somebody, you will not get enlightened. By reading a book, you will
Yes,
not get enlightened. It has
yes,
to come from within. And for this, sometimes you need the grace of God and the guidance of a guru. These are
yes,
very
yes,
important. I was fortunate. I had a guru, my dada. He used to guide me. He used to give me answers. It's not easy to get a guru to give answers to all our questions. But my
yes,
guru was giving me all the answers. So that is the way. And remember one thing, it is not a matter of in 1 minute it happens, right? It is a
yeah.
process, and our love for God, our deep yearning for God. This is called in Upanishads mumukshutva. We must have that deep love and yearning for God and liberation. If we have got that mumukshutva, then it will happen.
So
Thank you, Shahrukh.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I heard somewhere that it is mostly the grace of Guru and God that enlightenment happens. So there is very little which what we can do. So is
No,
it
no,
that?
no, 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 that's wrong. Sorry. Grace of Guru and God is only the cherry on the cake, and the base is your efforts. First is
Oh,
your efforts. Without
okay.
your effort, God is not. See, the whole concept of nirvana, moksha is karma. So your effort is paramount. Suppose you say, no, I will not come for this call. I will sit in my bed and I will keep doing bhajanam, 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 bhajanam. No, God will not make it happen. Your first is your karma, then is the grace of God and the guidance of the Guru.
Okay, Shivoham.
Thank you, Shivoham. Next, Bridget. Bridget has a question. Bridget, you're going to read out, or should I read out?
Yes, you can read for me, please.
My dear Bridget, you say, we say good karma or bad karma, but what defined what defined what is good or what is bad, according to which we believe. Giving water to a thirsty person is a good deed, while wasting water is a bad deed. Very good question, Bridget. Very good question. Let me explain to you something. Do you think that killing an animal is good or bad?
Probably bad.
Probably bad. But suppose you are living in Quebec, everybody is killing and everybody is eating, then it's not bad. Everybody is doing.
Yes.
What about that small child who is born in a butcher's house? The child is a 4-year-old boy. He doesn't know the meaning, but every day his father teaches him to kill, to kill, to kill. When he becomes big, killing is not bad. Killing is okay. So therefore, Bridget, good and bad, we have to realize from within. Nothing in this world is good or bad. It is our thinking. It is our conditioning. It is our culture. It is in so many places, in every country, there are different cultures. In India, many things are bad. In France, it's okay. For example, in France, you can catch somebody and kiss them. It's okay. In France, it's a culture. In India, if you do it, they'll put you in jail. It's bad, not allowed. So I'm just giving you an example how good and bad must be recognized by our conscience. You have a conscience. Inside you, you have a voice. And that voice will tell you good or bad. Provided you are able to overcome the noise. If there is too much noise, you cannot hear the voice. But everybody, you know, we call this conscience. You understand conscience, right? Inside
Yes.
us, there is a voice. That voice will tell us it is good or it is bad. Okay?
Yes, I got it. Thank you.
Thank
Sure
you, Vijay.
answer.
Shivam. Huh?
Ravindran.
Ravindran.
Yeah, Shivam Ravi here, Ravindran here.
Yes, sir.
I have one question regarding the ego. For example, if the person, when we talk about, we call that when he's going in a career in his growth as a manager or a senior manager or a general manager, he maintains some amount of ego with the juniors, or in this job also he has to maintain kind of ego in order to make sure they don't come closer to him, or they just don't take their order in the near future. He cannot get along, socialize like normal days when he was as a junior, when he joined as a trainee or as a fresher or in the beginning days. So how is it, because the management expects somebody to be extracting the maximum output from the employee with the minimum resources they provide. Somebody has to extract the maximum. So he has to maintain an ego at that point of time in the job. So
Ravindran, Ravindran, there are two aspects to your question. One aspect is the material world, and one aspect is the spiritual world. Okay. I will give you the answer to both the aspects. Luckily, I have come from the material world. So I can give, that's the advantage I have. I can give people both the perspectives. I can give the perspective of spiritual and non-spiritual, both the perspectives. So if you look at it in a spiritual angle, no, Ravindra? Yes. In a spiritual angle, manager or subordinate, it makes no difference. We're all human beings. If as a manager, if there are some people, it's called servant leader. You must have heard of the concept called servant leader. So what is a servant leader? A servant leader is able to kill his ego and is able to inspire people through his humility. So that is more a spiritual angle when you talk about a servant leader. But when I was in business, when I had to keep my ego a little strong, I'm giving you a formula, which is not a spiritual answer, but because you asked the question, I used to follow the 4F formula. The 4F formula, have you heard the 4F formula? No. The 4F formula means be friendly, be frank, be fair, and be firm. The 4F, be friendly, be frank, be fair, but be firm. That is the way to keep your ego, because you're firm. Nobody can play monkey tricks on your head. But at the same time, you try to follow the 4F formula. I know this works. When I was in my business, it used to work. But if you ask the spiritual answer, Ravindran, we are all divine souls. That is the spiritual answer. If you want to get a spiritual solution, then I would follow the second part of the spiritual answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ravindran. Rekha, last two questions. Rekha's questions and Kiran. Okay. Rekha, is doing our daily duties our karma? No. Doing your duty is not your karma. Doing your duty, you are creating karma. So Rekha, please be clear about it. What happens to you suppose you are doing your duty and somebody in your family, you are cooking, you are cooking food. But somebody, as you're cooking food and you want to put the bread inside that food, somebody in your family takes the bread and runs away, and there's no bread. That is karma, because he took the bread and disappeared. But doing your daily duty will create karma for the future. What is happening in your life is the karma of the past. So let us understand what is unfolding in our life today is our past karma. And what we are doing today is the karma which will bear fruit tomorrow. I hope you understand my answer. The second question, how do we go on our spiritual path doing our duties? Oh, I do my duty. That doesn't mean that I don't do my duties. So you have to do your duties. For example, today was Father's Day and I had to wish my father Father's Day. So I did my duty by wishing my father. I did not say I am spiritual path, so there's no Father's Day. I am not wishing my father. No. So doing your duty should not interfere in your spiritual path. But when you're doing your duty, you only do your duty. The problem is we go beyond our duty. Suppose, Rekha, you have a child and your duty is to give your child food to eat. But you are so attached to your child. You say, baby, what you want? You want pizza? Then, yeah, I want pizza. So now you leave all your work, you leave everything, you get a car, you get a driver, you leave your house, you go get, because you're attached to the child and you are not doing your duty, but you're doing much more than your duty. That is bad. We must not do more than our duty. You must only do your duty. Kiran Kathuria. So Rekha, when you are, Rekha, I think in Facebook, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Kiran Kathuria, last question for today. Kiran Kathuria.
Pranam Guruji, Shivo.
Shivoham Kiran, bolo.
Guruji, abhi you were talking about butcher. He is killing animals and the child is saying it. The child is automatically getting affected by the work of the father, whereas the child is not having any mistake. Because his father is a butcher, that is not his fault. He is saying killing all the time, and then when he will grow up, he will think killing animals is not bad. Then why the child will suffer? Because it is not his fault actually. It is parents' fault.
Absolutely. But it is parents' fault. But because of his karma, he is born to such parents. If it was not his karma, he would not have been born to these parents. So therefore, karma is very dangerous. Suppose karma makes you born in a terrorist, in a house of a terrorist. Whole day they're killing people, not animals, they're killing people. You also become influenced. But Kiran, there are two aspects of karma. This is what I call the road. The road is already paved. You can't change the road, but you're driving the car. You can go fast or slow. You can take left or right. It's up to you how you drive the car. So this boy who is killing animals because his father is a butcher, maybe one day he meets somebody in school, or he meets somebody who tells him it is so inhuman to kill. Why don't we eat vegetables? We should not kill animal and eat. And suppose this boy changes, and suppose this boy is inspired and he tells his father, I will not kill. I am leaving you and going and working on my own. Then his karma changes. Therefore, karma can change. While we cannot change where we are born, we cannot change our father, mother, we cannot change our country of birth, we cannot change even the religion which we are born, but we can change it. Suppose we don't believe in our religion, we can change it. So it's up to us. Finally, what is important is, as you do, that will come back to you. And what is happening is past karma. We can't change past karma, but we can change the future. So every day, my dear friends, thank you, Kiran. Every day, I like it that you're asking different questions. And see, as we are moving forward, the whole idea of this Ask Air Zoom session is to find out, why are we here on this earth? You people look at the sky and you look at the clouds, but you don't ask the question where these clouds came from. You don't ask the question, who created the sky? You don't ask the question, where is God? You don't ask the question when you see somebody die, where did the dead man go? There are so many questions. Only what we ask is, masala dosa mein masala hai ki nahi hai? Plain dosa mein idli chutney dala? That only we ask. We ask silly questions, but the important questions we don't ask. And because we don't ask the important questions, we suffer. We live, we suffer, we cry, we die. Again we are born. We don't ask the question why we will be born again. We don't understand what is the purpose of life. 99% of the people in this world, they just live and they die. When something goes wrong, they ask why. They look up at the sky and they cry. They don't understand the answer to the question, who am I? That is the question we need to answer. And every day you give me your lovely blessings by joining me on this call, and you teach everybody on the call with your lovely questions and my very ordinary answers, which I try to give you to the best of my ability. With folded hands, I thank you.
One thing more, Guruji.
Yes.
You have given me very good answer. Don't say like this. And happy Father's Day to all the proud and worthy fathers. And one thing more I want to share with you. A small child was there and he asked mom that, Mom, I don't want to go to school. Mother said, why? The child said, Ma'am, on Monday, ma'am told 4 plus 4 is 8. And on Tuesday, she said 5 plus 3 is 8. And third day, she said 7 plus 1 is 8. I will not go to school till my ma'am is confident and her mind is free what is correct. But in our case, you are teaching us daily about soul, mind, body, and everything. But we are so bad, we are still not enlightened. आप इतनी अच्छी तरह every day from 5-6 years I am coming to temple and listening to you all the time good things, and you are doing it so well, but still we are not enlightened. It is our fault.
No, you are the 1% amongst the 100% who is wanting enlightenment, who is wanting the answer. Please continue to keep your devotion for the divine, and it will happen. Thank you, Kiran, for your kind words, and see you all tomorrow again at 8. Thank you so much.